Hello, everyone. Nate and Beth coming your way to review another episode of Friday the 13th, the series. And Beth, what is this episode?
This is the Shadow Boxer. This is episode 8 of season 1. And I kind of had it pegged. It's a Shadow Boxer. It revolves around a pair of boxing gloves that was possessed. And the boxer that wears the gloves kind of gets possessed. And
What's the history of the gloves? So they were from some super boxer?
1940s boxer.
So he must have had a lot of wins or something under his. I don't know. I wasn't
Yeah.
even paying attention about the history of the. I remember something about.
Well, he was kind of a nowhere boxer, and he kind of rose up in fame after getting these gloves, and he was nicknamed the Killer. But
The gloves have like the word killer or something
stamped into him.
Stamped into them.
His last fight, he hung up his gloves because maybe the power of the gloves was too much for him, and he ended up in like a psych ward. Because every time you put on these gloves, it's like the dark half of you, which is like your shadow, separates from you, and whoever is your enemy at the time gets killed either while you're punching a bag or punching a person.
So these gloves were owned by this Manny, the guy who owns the gym? Is that correct or whatever?
Manny was the manager of the Killer, and the Killer donated his gloves to Manny.
Okay,
like they
so
were given to Manny.
Did this guy who ends up finding the gloves at the beginning of this episode, he know about their power before the episode? I forgot.
I think he wore them once, and he's like, "Oh yeah,
Oh,
my
yeah.
hands were on fire when I
Okay,
wore them."
so then- So he's kind of a jerkwad. This guy, was it Tom or something? Tommy, and he's kind of a jerkwad and has a fight with Manny, the gym owner, at the beginning, and puts the gloves on. We were like, wow, it was a really cool little gimmick when he puts the gloves on and he like touches the wall, like the shadow will go against the wall, and kind of like how you touch boxing gloves. I'm not a boxing enthusiast, but so it's like him touching the wall, the shadow did too, and then the shadow separated.
Like the shadow pulled Manny to the wall, so they would touch gloves on the wall,
And
then
like
the
that
shadow
needed to, not Manny, Tommy.
Tommy
And then after that happened, the shadow like came off the wall and
walked away
and went out and killed Manny while he's beating on the little whatever you call it
exercise bag.
And we were like, wow, that's not only a cool idea but pretty well executed for a 1987 lower budget TV show.
Yeah, because like Manny couldn't escape the shadow of Tommy, and then when Tommy started like working on the exercise bag, he was actually working on Manny. So it's kind of a clear-cut alibi. It's like, oh, because his body was found the next morning,
at
and
the scene he's always
one set of footprints, and he was beaten to death, but there was no evidence of anyone else being there.
Yeah,
because his alibi was he was working out in the gym.
When people die, he's always pretty much at the gym and where people can vouch for him, where he's been.
He was in the gym or he was in a fight for the 2 deaths. I was kind of disappointed by that.
There's only a body count of 2 in this episode. Beth was disappointed and still is. Hopefully she'll get over it in a week.
Okay.
But then there's also the second kill. It was not even on screen because after all, being beat to a pulp's kind of redundant. You've seen it once.
Yeah.
You've seen it twice. So there was just this other boxer in the gym that, Tommy was just whatever, had beef with, and he ends up getting killed, I think, when Tommy's fighting someone in the ring or something, I think.
Right. But see, I'm going to back up a little bit. I think the first time Tommy tried on Killer's gloves, he didn't really know the secret.
No.
So he still lost that fight, even though he was wearing the Killer gloves. But now that he kind of figured out, I have to have an enemy for my shadow to beat up, that's when he learned the power of the gloves. So
Could be, like, maybe he needs to have, like, emotional, because there's one point where the gloves always, like, vibrate or something, and that's, like, when they become charged or something.
Oh, but the gloves have a weakness. The Shadow has a weakness, I should
that's
say.
right. Yeah, pretty interesting ideas in this. You can say what the weakness is.
Well, kind of on accident, Mickey was taking pictures.
With the big old flash.
Well, she was trying to take pictures of people in the gym to find the gloves, so...
She had a camera on her.
She had the camera on her when the Shadow was attacking her because, well... She set him up while the other guys checked his apartment for the gloves. She, like, suckered him into, like, a coffee date. So,
to get him out of his apartment.
To get him out of his apartment.
So, what are the guys' names?
I can't think of them right now.
Jack and Ryan can look around in his apartment for the gloves.
So Mickey kind of became the victim when the gloves got put on in a fight, and in sheer luck, she had the camera with her and took a picture.
Pretty good.
And flashed out.
She wanted a picture of what she was seeing, the shadow chasing her, and it just by chance...
The flash kind of faded out, and
what
Tommy got blinded.
What hurts a shadow? Well, light.
Light.
And Tommy felt the effects of this, so every time she flashed him, he's like...
With the picture.
With the flash.
With the camera flash.
He's like, which was a really cool gimmick. There's a lot of cool gimmicks in this one.
Yeah, it's almost like you almost have to watch it to understand what we're babbling about.
And luckily I think you can on YouTube. I think there's that one, I can't remember the channel. He has got the blurry episodes on there, but you
on a smaller screen. I think we mentioned it in the first one.
Probably looks okay on a smaller screen, but... And then this is kind of an interesting episode in that it seems to like wrap up. Like you think it wrapped up, but it doesn't. Mickey, is it Mickey?
Mickey.
I gotta remember
Mickey's
the mouse. Mickey's all disappointed that the bad guy, the perpetrator, Tommy, wasn't brought to justice because there's no way to do it because
he had an alibi.
He has always got an alibi. Oh, and there's this other guy that ends up, who's at the gym, who ends up thinking that he killed, what's the guy's name who owned
Manny?
Manny, yeah. So he wanted to face off with him, and
the top boxer of the
he wanted to
gym.
face off with him. Who this guy, incidentally, I think would go on to be like the following year a main character in the War of the Worlds TV series. I think, which I got season 1 of that on DVD. But I think this guy who kind of, was the guy who fought.
Top boxer.
Yeah,
ends up
he was
fighting
in War
Manny.
of the Worlds, but I can't remember what's happening while is the Shadow going after someone?
The Shadow's going after Jack and Mickey
while he's beating that guy who challenged him.
Right.
And they're able to defeat the Shadow with the light that gets broke, and then she uses the Mercedes
high beams.
And what I was saying. Oh, okay, and then right after the fight, Ryan steals the gloves, the possessed devil gloves off the victim, while
Tommy.
Everyone's celebrating the guy from War of the Worlds who won the fight. And then
we think it's the end.
We think the episode's over, but Mickey's all pissed off that he ain't brought to justice, and there's this really goofy scene where she's all mopey in bed looking at the fiancé's picture, and we're just like, what's going on? And Beth's like, I think the engagement's off.
I don't know.
And then all of a sudden the bad guy, Tommy, bursts in with a knife and, where are the gloves at?
Yeah.
Bitch. He doesn't say bitch.
He would have.
He would have if this was a movie.
Mm-hmm. So then Ryan gets
oh my God, that's so funny. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Ryan gets sucker punched into getting the gloves.
Go get the gloves.
Only gives Tommy one glove.
Like, where's the other one? And then what happens?
You can say it. You're so anxious to say it.
And this scene, we too bad we didn't record us watching this, because we were just, when this scene happened, we were like, what the hell? So Ryan's got one of the gloves on, and he's getting possessed by it, I guess, because all of a sudden he's punching Jack, the old guy, main character in the episode. But
the gut punch to Jack is also a gut punch
by the shadow to Tommy. Oh, it's so funny. So Tommy goes back on the bed, Jack goes down on the floor, and then he does it again. Brian's like, "You old man," something, and punches him in the face.
Like the glove possessed.
Yeah, punches the old guy in
Ryan.
the Jack in the face, and which
Jack's like, "That's one of the stupidest things you've ever done, putting on a pair of possessed gloves." And he's like, "I didn't even hit you that hard." And you're like,
my
dumbass.
God, that was so funny.
Knowing that he was a victim.
That was so funny.
I guess they knock out Tommy, and they don't really. It's not a very clear cut.
You know
ending.
what? Yeah. So I was saying that when he punches the old guy in the face the second time, or punches the old guy a second time in the face, and he goes down, then Tommy gets it from the shadow in the face, which it's really, they make it really weird. It's like, okay, Mickey says he's not breathing, but then every time they cut to Tommy on the bed, he's like moving, so I don't know what's going on. But yeah, we don't know what the hell happened to Tommy. He's not breathing, but he's moving, so figure that one out, and then happy ending.
Happy ending.
It's just weird. Then it cuts to that one guy from War of the World Series, like bringing a box of, I don't know what it is, Manny's stuff to the Curious Goods.
The trophies that the gym won, so he can
pawn it off and pay for the funeral or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is
kind of a confusing ending, but I'd still give it a thumbs up.
The ending, yeah, it was kind of goofy, but I liked it. It was goofy in a way that I was like, that's just kind of, I don't know what. Goofy, it's like you really don't see that kind of goofy ending. And what was her moping around, looking at the picture and like, do you want some hot cocoa? No. Are you okay? Yes. I mean, it's just like
obviously crying or trying.
It was just like a weird scene, but yeah, I'll give it a thumbs up. And you know, not being a boxing enthusiast, it was a little bit of a bummer seeing all the spit and the sweat and all this and that and whatever. But I got through it, didn't I?
Yes, you did, like a trooper.
So I guess that pretty much, as we both reach for the,
so I
pretty much does it for the review of this episode, as we both reach for the collection. So Beth can say.
So the next episode is going to be the end of disc 2, which is called The Root of All Evil.
And what did I think it was based on that?
We're going that it's going to be a plant.
A little potted plant. I'm guessing that
Little
it's
Shop of Horrors.
Innocent-looking potted plant that's going to be a devil plant. I'm hoping.
The root of all evil.
Because it's it's like a year after the remake of Little Shop of Horrors, I think. So hopefully it's a innocent potted devil plant.
Well, he was right about.
Which one?
Dr. Jack having it. Yeah, Jack the Ripper.
Oh, okay.
So we'll see if he's right about Root of All Evil.
I
was right about Shadowboxer. I thought it had something to do with shadowboxing, like.
Yeah, I didn't say any.
Gloves.
I didn't have any idea for Shadowboxers. So okay.
All right.
Oh, cool. I'm sorry. Looking at disc 3, there's one called Scarecrow.
Well, that'll be fun. That's the second one on disc 3. For those paying attention.
Brain drain. I'm just looking at.
He's just looking ahead at the titles.
Don't mind me.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening, everyone.